Welcome to the Airflow is King portion of our videos. I'm glad you're watching because airflow is really the most important part of your comfort system, and it's probably also the one that's most misunderstood. Let's talk a little bit about some of the terms that you'll hear when somebody comes out and starts looking at your system. First, you'll hear terms such as static pressure. In static pressure, think of blood pressure, and what that is the pressure of the air within the ductwork and how much resistance it's running into as it flows through the ductwork. Another term is going to be cubic feet per minute, CFM, and that is the volume of air that is traveling through the ductwork. Another term is going to be the velocity, or feet per minute, which is simply that how fast the air moves through your ductwork. So those are some of the terms that you'll hear as somebody comes out and examines your system, either on a service call or on a home evaluation. So now that we've got the technical stuff out of the way, let's talk about how the airflow actually affects the efficiency and comfort of your home. First, a little explanation on how that air gets heated. This is one heat exchanger cell, and there are several that are inside a furnace like this or in any furnace. And what happens is the burners heat the air that goes inside this cell. The air from your home passes along the outside of this cell, and it absorbs the heat from inside here and passes that air out into your home. Now the air that's inside this we'll call bad air, and that's the air that contains the carbon monoxide and is then vented outside through a pipe like this if it's a 90% efficient, or through a chimney. The air that passes along the outside is what goes through your ductwork and then out into your home. So let's talk a little bit about what happens if the air goes too fast. And this could happen for a variety of reasons. But if it's traveling too fast as it comes in through your return ductwork, through the blower compartment and through the heat exchanger, and then back out, it doesn't have time to have enough contact with that heat exchanger that's in here to heat that air up properly. So now, instead of air that should be heated up to in the 50 to 65 degree range, you have air that's heated only 30-35 degrees. So while that still will work and it will heat your home, but you'll have cooler air coming out of your registers. It will take longer to heat your home, and with it taking longer, it's going to mean the furnace runs longer, costing you more money on your gas bill. So people will tell me that they have a 90% efficient furnace, and I say that's great. But what that means is you have a furnace that will burn the gas at 90% efficiency, not necessarily transfer that heat into your home at 90% efficiency. So what happens to the heat if it doesn't transfer it into your home? Well, it goes up, in this case, it would go right up this vent pipe and outside. And you've just paid to heat that air that's going outside. So that's not a good thing. So what happens if the air is going too slow? That must be better, right? Not necessarily. You have some problems with that also. If it's going too slow, it will take too long to come through this heat exchanger. And the heat exchanger will heat up more than what it's designed to. That creates problems long term as far as putting stress on the heat exchanger. It will also cause the system to shut down if it gets too hot. Other problems can be, if it's too slow, is that it takes too long for that air to travel all through the ductwork and get to your home. In that case, it's cooling off while it's in that ductwork, and when it reaches the end of it, it's even cooler. The other thing that's going to happen is that the air, when it reaches your registers, it just kind of comes pooling out a little bit. Think of a puddle of water pouring out of there. It doesn't have the velocity to mix with the rest of the air in the room. So what happens is you have now hot spots and cold spots within that room because of the slow-moving air. So air that's too slow is just as bad as air that's too fast. The important thing is to get it right. And that's what we call is thermal efficiency. And that's the efficiency of not only the furnace, but the ductwork that it is hooked to. So now you might be wondering, how does airflow affect my air conditioning? Well, very much the same way as it does your heating. But first I'll give you a brief explanation of how the air conditioning system works, and then I'll point out to you how the airflow or lack of airflow is affecting the efficiency of your system. First, what you have happening is you have an indoor coil that has cold refrigerant in it, and your warm air from your home is passing over that coil. As it heats that refrigerant up, it circulates through these copper line sets out to an outdoor unit, and at that point the compressor that's in that unit compresses that refrigerant until it boils off the refrigerant, turns it into makes it boil, which releases the heat that's built into that refrigerant now. As the refrigerant cools, it goes back in and starts the system all over again. Now, as you can imagine, if you're not getting good airflow across here, that's really going to hinder the ability of the refrigerant to do its job. If the coil is dirty, what's going to happen is that dirt will act as an insulation and prevent the refrigerant from absorbing the heat that's in the air passing through that coil. So what happens is now you have the air passing through here not getting as cold as it should, and you're having some tempered air blowing back out into your home, which is again resulting in your system running longer and being less efficient, costing you more money. The other problem it has is, the other job an air conditioner does is humidity control. And because it's not being efficient in that, it's not removing the humidity from your air. So that in a nutshell is how the air conditioning system works and what the problems with a lack of airflow cause in your air conditioning system. And it doesn't matter whether it's going too fast or too slow. It really needs to be balanced out. The airflow needs to match the refrigerant charge that you have. If it doesn't, you're going to have an inefficient system. So hopefully that answers some of the questions you have on air conditioning and airflow.